Great. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our second hay bale talk of the day. This morning we talked about our Farming for Nature project with Waitrose, and this afternoon we're going to talk about how you can take LandApp from the office into the field with LandApp Mobile. For those that don't know, LandApp has been going for about 9 years, and our most requested feature for a long time was the ability to take your plans out into the field via a mobile app. And as of last March, we now officially can do that, and delighted to welcome to the stage Anthony from South Hill Estate and James Windridge from Hampton Estate to talk about their experiences of using it as a farmer within their enterprises. Before we start and get introductions from themselves, I just want to quickly introduce myself. I'm Dan, I'm one of the directors of LandApp, and I'm here to really make sure that people are getting maximum value from the product that we're building and that we continue to build. So, starting firstly with yourself, James, if you'd like to introduce yourself and the estate you come from, as well as your role within it.
So, I'm James. I am head of farming at Hampton Estate. We are a diverse estate down in the Surrey Hills, just off the Hog's Back, farming beef cattle, hops, and countryside stewardship schemes, with lots of nature-based farming going on.
Thank you very much, James. And Anthony, the same, please.
Good afternoon. So I'm the Estates Director at Southhill, just south of Bedford. It's a large mixed rural estate. We let farms, houses, commercial premises, and the estate farms about 2,500 acres in hand. So that's conventional combinable crops. They've been farming regeneratively now for about 12 years, and we also have a herd of English white cattle.
Perfect. Well, today is all about LandApp Mobile. So I guess starting with yourself, Anthony, seeing as you've got the microphone, I guess when was your first experience using LandApp and LandApp Mobile, and how have you found it on your first impressions?
I first became aware of LandApp during COVID. I then, because we worked on a project in the Peak District where we were integrating a lot of different mapping data, I moved from the South Yorkshire to Bedfordshire in 2022. And when I arrived in Bedfordshire, they'd recently acquired LandApp. So I was a complete cold user with it, previously experienced really mostly with PT mapping. So I really learned from ground up without anybody else in the business that was really in a good position to better show me what to do. So you talk about it being intuitive, and I think it is testament to the system that a foolish person like me can use it with a degree of competence.
Perfect. Anthony, for the next question, if you can speak a little bit louder, that's all good, that'd be good. And then likewise, James, I suppose you said you've been at Hampton for 6 months. So were you, as soon as you arrived at Hampton, introduced to LandApp, and how are you finding it?
Yeah, so I'm very new to Hampton and very new to LandApp, having only been there 6 months. Hampton have been using LandApp since the start, I do believe. Yes, one of the first users. I find it very intuitive, very easy to use. It's a good program. We've got all of our data on there and much, much more going on there as you sort of improve it and develop it. We're picking up on it and using it.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I think Hampton Estate has been using it longer than I have. So, yeah, got a bit of history. So, James, just in terms of the LandApp Mobile then, what are the types of use cases you've got for it? I think earlier you mentioned a bit of hedgerow mapping and soil sampling, but can you give a bit more detail about how you're using it, both yourself and your team?
Yep, so we are using it to do all of our mapping. We've got infrastructure maps. We do quite a lot of commercial lets as well, so we're doing mapping of those. Ready for the letting side of things. We've got an intern working with us at the moment who's doing our SAM1 soil type testing for SFI. So she's been using LandApp Mobile for mapping all of that, taking pictures, doing all of that side of things, putting all that onto LandApp so all that information's in one place. We're doing the hedgerow monitoring for SFI through it as well. And because I'm new on the estate, it's really handy for me that I can just pop onto my phone, have a look on the app, see which field I'm actually in, see which fields are actually ours, make sure I'm not doing something to the neighbours' fields, and just, it really helps me. I can look at what field sizes are, I can look at names, and all that sort of thing. So planning grazing for our cattle, using it for that as well, planning applications on hops and on grassland fields, looking at sizes of fields for seed applications, so looking at renewing some lays. All that information's going on Land App.
It's always handy to know that you're in the right field. You know, you've got to make sure you're the right side of the fence.
It's kind of key.
Yeah. And are there any particular features that you use? Are you using the photo uploads, or are you drawing new shapes out, or are you mainly just taking it to view existing data?
Yeah, no. So we're taking photos and putting photos on there. So with the hedgerow assessment and with the soil testing, we're taking pictures so we can look at the soil profiles, we can look at how friable it is and all of that side of things. So we are putting photos on there as well. I've played around a bit with drawing lines on there, so where I'm doing adaptive grazing, multi-paddock grazing, I'm looking at splitting up the field so I can then, when I'm back in the office, make a note of how big the area was that I gave the cows. That's something I'm getting more and more in tune with as we're going along, really.
Perfect. So over to Anthony as well. I guess a similar question. Land App Mobile specific. You know, what are the key functions that you're using it, both yourself and your wider team?
First time I used the mobile app really was for photographing something as nasty as fly tip. And that was useful because actually you got the what 3-word location too. So I was able to send that to local authorities. This was roadside stuff, and they were able then to find exactly where it was. Interestingly, I mean, I think now I can make more use of it, and I'll run into some of the things we do. But then we did a tree safety survey, and actually I had to go to a third-party mobile app, which I then had to run through QGIS to get into Land App. So, to begin with, I was disappointed that I couldn't go straight out and do that with Land App Mobile. I think now I could. And one of the things I was asking you guys to help with was bespoke survey data collection. And so, we're just using it more and more for data collection. So we've got stewardship schemes. We're recording stuff out in the field for those. If we've got issues with fence lines, utilities, we're identifying stuff. Our game department use it for deer culling. So every time they shoot a deer, they take a picture of it and they record the information for that carcass, and they know exactly where that is taken. Now, I mean, the beautiful thing about your mobile app is that it is with you all the time, that it synchronizes. Using things like Trimble in the past, not half as easy to use, and in fact I needed third-party help to get me to get data to transfer across. So it's really come into its own. I'm now using it more and more. I'm encouraging other people to use it. So our farm manager said the other day, well, you've got your herbal lays and stuff like that, you just need to take a picture of that out in the field. It's there because more and more people are using it. And it's not going to be long before recording your data on Land App is going to be as good as providing your data direct to the government for your stewardship recognition, I think.
Really great to hear. I think you picked on a couple of key points that happened in that update in March. So before March, it was just a tool that you could upload photos and kind of draw measurements. But as of March, you can really drop those points. You can edit your lines, edit your polygons, start to extract those what 3 words addresses, and start to label more of those features on your map. So it's really made quite a leap since the first release 18 months ago until the latest one. And I think you're the first person to mention fly tipping, but I think it's a really good point. When there is things happening on your farm that you need to record and evidence for whatever it is, being able to take those photos and have your exact location auto sync makes a lot of a big difference. Just out of interest for both of you, what's your signal like where you are in terms of mobile signal? Do you have issues online? Because the reason I'm asking is this new version as well has an offline mode, which means you don't actually need signal, you just need GPS. So James, starting with you.
Yeah, I'm a bit patchy on signal cover on the estate, so being able to use it offline would be fantastic. Can we use it offline now?
You can.
I haven't tried it.
Well, there we are.
So I'll have a training lesson in a minute, I'm sure. But yeah, being able to use it offline would work quite well.
Yeah, so we basically now you're forced to download the plan onto your phone before you start editing it. So even if you've got signal, it goes offline. But then if you've got connection through the edits, it's a live sync. And what that means is it can cover both instances, either being offline or online, following the same protocol. And so I think, Anthony, you just mentioned you can have that real-time synchronization where two of you could be editing the same plan at the same time and seeing each other's real-time changes, even if you're editing the same map, providing their signal. If you both don't have signal, we have a smart conflict resolution as well that will just help you guys make sure that you retain all your data, even if you're both doing similar things. How's the signal at South Hill?
South Hill, the signal is good. And the facility now to be able to open up the background plans is ideal. So, for instance, if I'm checking boundaries, ownership boundary, I mean, the other day there was a question about a piece of land and whose tenancy was it in. I was able to get up the map and identify that out in the field. So that remote accessibility is fantastic.
And how many different people, Anthony, are you sharing the map with? Is it just yourself that sees it, or do you have...
No, I'm using it more and more. I mean, it's not just within our business, but it's the way you can share it with other businesses as well. So within the business, our farms team, our game department are using it. Outside the business, our lawyers are using it. So, we're providing tenancy plans, lease plans and things like that. And the lawyers are actually checking things on that. The other thing I find fantastic with Land App generally is the background data that you can lift in. And so, for instance, the land registry ownership data, I'm forever using that to identify boundaries and who owns what. It's tremendously useful. Pulling in all of those publicly accessible data sets, but just in one location, is a brilliant facet of Land App.
So one product improvement we've got on the roadmap, which I don't know if Jack's listening, he's not here yet, but title deeds will soon be available for you to purchase as well. So at the moment we've got land registry titles and you can access kind of corporate ownership details, but over the next couple of weeks we should be releasing the ability for you to be able to purchase the title deeds. Just along that thread, Anthony, is there any product improvements that you'd like to see happen either with Land App Mobile or more generally with Land App?
Yes.
He's got his list.
I've got my list. Well, listen, this won't be an unusual one, but walking line or point recording, yeah? So that's what those other things do. So for boundaries, routes, etc. I haven't yet tested how much flexibility you have got to create bespoke data sets. So, for instance, with those tree safety surveys, I want to be able to choose the names for the different categories, etc. So I'd love to see that. Greater location accuracy. Okay, so GPRS signal with your phone is probably 3-5 meters. Mm-hmm. Actually, if you can get that to a meter, we're into a whole new world. And I think looking forwards, I'm just looking forwards to being able to share it more widely. So, for instance, with our government schemes, etc., I think that it's there's so many possibilities, and you'll know that the range of people that are using it now is growing the whole time. You know who your clients are, so I just think it's become the go-to. The big firms are using it, so I mean that says enough.
Yeah, well, just answering on a couple of those things. So with the GPS accuracy, it's based on how well your phone can pick up the signal. So if you can online buy Bluetooth devices to enhance the accuracy of your phone. So it's basically we're at the beck and call of whatever device you're using. So you can increase the accuracy of your phone's GPS through a Bluetooth Trimble type thing, and then get down to, I think, to 25 centimeters.
Brilliant.
So that's one thing to try. And then on the digital submissions, I'm not sure if you recently saw our Making Land Digital campaign.
Yes.
Yeah, so we've basically been lobbying the government for about 3 years to accept our maps as part of your stewardship or your basic payment. And finally, we've got momentum. We've got over 100 signatories. We've written a whole white paper on what they need to do with just 3 main asks. 40,000 people creating digital plans on Land App using government data. They should be able to ingest that. Yeah. Our constant frustration is that the government's digital strategy is always giving digital data, whereas their strategy should be including receiving digital data as well. So we're definitely working on that. And the rest, I'll let Jack, who will hopefully be here, he'll watch the recording, listen to the other wish list, because I think there's some really good points there. James, same question for you. In terms of product improvements, is there anything you would like to see either in Land App Mobile or on Land App more generally?
So I've got one that's quite specific, and it's down to grazing. So looking at adaptable grazing paddocks and then being able to go on the map and see how long you've been off those paddocks. So you could put a on date for cattle, then off date, and then it'd effectively give you a heat map. So you could say you wanted a 40-day rotational round, and it would then go from red if you've only been off it for a few days to green when you can go back on it. So that's something I looked at trying to do but couldn't work out how to do it. So I've set up a spreadsheet instead. But if I could do that on LandApp and have less spreadsheets, I'd be much happier.
Do you guys use the no collar fences?
Yeah, and if we could drag data from no fence into LandApp as well, so we could look at the heat maps of where's been grazed on certain days, that would be fantastic.
I think 2026, I'd love integrations to be a key word that we use. There's so many great tools out there, and being completely transparent, we can't do everything. And so we've been very focused on being a land use tool, a grant management tool. However, like people doing productivity type stuff, whether it's grazing management or, application rates for when you're seeding, be really great to be able to pull those heat maps in. One, to help your productivity, but two, to understand where you're less productive and therefore where maybe a stewardship option or a, set aside might be able to be put. So they're both really good.
Yeah, I mean, we've got all our stewardship mapped on LandApp, and it is fantastic. From coming into a business 6 months ago to learn all the stewardship side of things that have been set up for a long time is a very good just way of being able to click on an option and see where it is on the farm, what it is, how much of it we've got. So yeah, no, it's very, very good like that.
So Jay, is keeping that thread on, the positivity, there's going to be farmers out there that have never used LandApp or LandApp Mobile. What would you say to them if they're listening to this?
It's a great mapping tool. It's a good bit of software. Just crack on and use it, really. It's the best one out there. I haven't been paid to say that yet. But yeah, just hurry up and use it, really. It's good. It works. It's very, very easy and is definitely helpful.
Anthony, is there anything you would say to people that haven't used the tool yet?
If a simpleton like me can use it, you can.
Perfect. Okay, I've got a couple of questions, and then we will go to the audience if you've got any questions to add, so feel free to have a think. I want to get under this because I think one of the key things for me, and the reason I really love LandApp, is the collaboration element. I guess, how important is it for you as a farming business to maintain a single source of truth and allow that to be collaborated on through different permission levels? You can't trust everyone with a edit permission. So I guess you as a farm manager or head of farming, sorry, official title, how important is that collaboration to you?
Yeah, and it's very important. So at the moment, only really the management team of Hampton have access to LandApp. But again, like you were saying, at different levels. So a few of us can edit it, make plans and do that side of things. And a few don't. They can just look at the plans that we've created and print them off, or we can create them for them and they can print them off. But like you were saying earlier as well, the editing, the way two people can be editing the plans, and I think that works fantastically well. But just having all that information in one place, it means you're not searching around for files, you're not having to email stuff across everywhere. You can just say, yeah, it's on LandApp, go on the farming file, and you'll find the map of all the infrastructure for the farming. So yeah, that side of things, very important for the business and works fantastically well.
Yeah, perfect. And Anthony, is there anything on collaboration that you want to add?
It's a wonderfully collaborative tool, not just the way in which you can manage access to it, but also the way you can import-export. And so I find myself a lot working with Google Earth. So there'll be something on there that I can import into LandApp or vice versa. I was ground truthing, so I did mobile app, measured a load of ponds that we'd installed. 2 years later, the Google imagery had been updated. I was then able to actually just tinker with the edges on that to get those 100% accurate afterwards. So its integration, I guess, is another great facet of it. It's a great tool. It's a great tool.
Just getting under the skin of that, because we did a customer survey. I can't remember how many 100 people responded, but Google Earth was, after LandApp, was the most used tool. Why do you use Google Earth? What's
well,
Google Earth
because it predates LandApp. So, we've been using Google Earth for probably 20 years. So we're pretty familiar with what we can and can't do within that. And so we're working with the two. I mean, I find myself you get to know the land literally, virtually, and then you're doing it from your desktop through Google and through Land App. So yeah.
Okay, so it's both the ability on Google Earth to have a desktop version of it, but is it more the ability on Google Earth to kind of scroll back in time and see how the satellites change? Is that what you use on Google Earth?
One thing I will create boundaries and look at sometimes the clarity can be better in Google Earth. It just depends on the dates, or if you are going to go back in time, the history. So you can capture something which existed 10 years ago that doesn't now. So you can look at that as well. So I was, for instance, trying to map old field drainage systems. So I went back on Google Earth. I found a summer where you could see those lines in the ground. I then drew over those lines in Google Earth, import that into Land App.
Okay. Well, I think that's definitely something that's on our radar, is the ability. We've got high resolution satellite, but I'd love for you to be able to scroll back to 2017 or 2019 or however far Google goes back, because the Land App mobile is actually now based on Google Earth. The Land App desktop doesn't use Google Earth, but the backdrop on your Land App mobile is Google Earth. So we've now got this ability to start thinking about, okay, what else can we, use from Google Earth that's going to help bring more people to stay into the ecosystem. So that's, really good and interesting feedback. And yeah, perfect. Okay, well, final question then for the panel, and then I'll come to you, is kind of forgetting about Land App for now. What's the future of South Hill Estate in the next 5-10 years? What's exciting you about where you're heading, particularly with respect to what's happening here at Groundswell?
The most exciting thing in Bedfordshire at the moment is Universal Studios. Oh. So the announcement, and that we border that site. So Bedford, that's been treated as a bit of a backwater in the past, is on the Oxford-Cambridge route. And Universal Studios is going to bring a lot of investment into that area. So that's the most exciting thing in Bedfordshire and Southall at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's the most impressive anti-NIMBYism I've seen in a long time. A lot of people are like, not in our backyard, but I feel like the people of Bedford have gone, Universal Studios, come to us. They know the benefit it's going to bring them. That's really exciting. Yeah. Very exciting. James, what about you? What's the future for Hampton, and what's the most exciting thing in the next 5-10 years that you...
So what's very... Bill isn't here, so I can say anything. What's very exciting at Hampton is what is also being launched at Groundswell is we are a pitch-up partner for 2025. So we're inviting businesses to come to us, tell us what they do with bits of land that we're not using, or stacking enterprises on the farm, which again will be great for Land App because we can then map those enterprises, track where they are or what they're doing. So looking forward to expanding and working with more businesses and making the most out of the ground and the land that we've got with the facilities that we've got available.
There we are. If anyone wants to open a business at Hampton, do get in touch. Perfect. Well, guys, thank you so much. Round of applause for our panellists. And if anyone in the audience has any questions, please feel free to raise your hands.
Me to Land App, please.
Here we are. A request. Dan wants adding to Land App. Perfect. Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for listening. Anthony, James, really appreciate your time and enjoy the rest of your festival. Thanks.